Hello, cartoon Porsche fans. We have this Martini-inspired RWB Porsche. I just got it because it's got some cool looking wheels, and I really like the super deformed look. But it turns out this is a real car. So it seems like more often than not, a lot of these crazy liveries I see on diecast cars, whether they're realistic or cartoons, they actually are based on real things in real life. Alright, so let's get that wrap off. Let's get this box out. So Little Egg, I've bought this brand before. You can search my channel. Really shiny, nice little photo there. I guess, well, that's not actually a real photograph. It's been photoshopped. I was gonna say I should have realized it's a real car looking at this, but this actually is photoshopped, so I guess I wouldn't have known. Alright, there seems to be some tape holding this down. It's also screwed in two random spots. That's a really weird arrangement because the car is sitting normally in the case. But they just drilled the holes at a diagonal. I find that odd. Oh, another thing I recommend for you guys is if you get any of the models with this plastic case and you want to stack your cases up, these screws will scratch the case sitting it's on top of. So I really recommend you tape over these things so you don't scratch up the case sitting below it. Alright, so now that that's done, I'm not going to take this off the stand. It's too shiny, and that little toe hook might break off if I touch it. So this is what we're going to look at here. Let's see. Boys, unfortunately the stand's so far from the screen it's hard to focus between the two. That's as good as I can get it. Here's the foreshortening view. Boy, that's really shiny. Oh, this has an interior. I didn't even realize that. A lot of these cartoon cars don't have interiors. They're just blacked out windows. So I'm actually looking forward to looking at this one. It's actually been sitting in my drawer for a while. I just haven't had time to review it. So this thing has really shiny. It's a mirror, this thing, but it's actually photo etched and it's a limited edition. And it's a 993 with RWB, and I guess it's named Rough Rhythm, or maybe it's not. I don't know. I've seen other Rough Rhythm RWBs and they look nothing like this. So what I'm not really a fan of is this, fake fabric stuff, because I know fake plastic fabrics tend to be really cheap and this might fall apart in a few years, but hopefully it won't. We'll see. What's funny is I can actually see underneath here on the edge there's like a carbon fiber texture. I almost would rather have just a plain plastic with this texture on it, because I know that's never going to go bad, but this white stuff might. It's also weird to put a white car on a white background because then it makes it harder to see the actual object. So that's a strange choice. Alright, well, let's see. Let's start with the side. I bought it because of the wheels. I've never seen wheels like this on a deformed car, but they're really nice. I have a suspicion those are photo etched metal centers and they're just painted blue. I think it's literally a separate center cap because you can see the little air gap around the sides. But the photo etching indicates like it's a multi-piece wheel. It's got like bolts details around the perimeter and 5 lug nut details in the center. And it's probably a brake system now that I think of it. So let me get the flashlight out. It's hard to say. The holes are so small I can't tell. Or let me change this light setting. It might be too bright. Well, no, that was only 1 lumen. I don't see anything. Well, maybe right there on the front wheel. There's like something silver there at the 10 o'clock position. Let me check the other side. No, I don't see it. I don't know. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Okay, well, the tires are nice. I mean, it's got printing on them and they have curvature to them. Unfortunately, this rear tire looks like it's not on the wheel very well. You see how so I might have to try to mess with that later. Alright. So the door handle, it's sticking out, and then there's also a side graphic of the RWB logo. It's a very glossy finish. I have a feeling it's clear coated. And then, well, you got these really thin black canards on this and the front. You know, they're so thin. Looking at it straight on, I don't know if those are plastic or metal. Because, well, I guess they're probably plastic. This is a dental pick and it's around that thin. If they're metal, they would be thinner than that. Alright, so the fender wide body thing, it's got the black paint here. And they actually got, you know, how they smear on these lines with their fingers. If you ever watch a video on how they install these RWB kits, that's what they do. And then the decal of the Martini stripe here, well, it's a little wrinkled in spots. It's actually not very well applied right there by the door. And yeah, the wrinkliness is not very good. I'm afraid that might crack off in the future. Yeah, it looks like the decal is above the paint. I don't think it's under the clear coat. Alright, the mirrors are separate, and they have a reflector in them. So pretty nice mirrors. A little dust there. I actually vacuumed this room with a shop vac earlier today, but there's still dust. I don't know where this dust comes from. Alright. Sorry, it's just more dust. So there's a white license plate with ant on it, and that is on the real photograph, so that's realistic. It's got a red tow hook here, which the color is not realistic. I think it's black on the real one. These two vents I think are just painted. No, I'm wrong. That's a real vent. It's so hard to actually tell. So the model's pretty small, and I'm looking through my camera screen. This has a grill texture in it, and a little bit of gunk in there as well. The turn signal. Alright, you know what? I gotta back out. It's a shiny reflector in the turn signal. You see how it's reflecting as I move there? So I think that's a piece of metal right there. Alright, the headlights look great because there's a lens, but actually a light bucket behind it with what looks like refraction details, you know, all the ribbing or something. And that light bulb is really far back there. See, it vanishes when I twist there, but then it reappears. So it's a pretty deep light bucket and it's chromed. Alright, there's a little, I don't know, I can't pronounce that, it's German. And then the stripe is pretty nice. Okay, so then again, all this little black paint here representing, well, you know what, I understand the black paint here, but I'm not sure if, well, I do see it on the real photograph. I guess that's realistic. The two wiper blades are photo etched metal. Look how small and thin they are. They're so delicate looking. Yeah, alright. And then the roof, yeah, it's very smooth. There's no orange peel whatsoever. Yeah, look how crisp that reflection is. So that's a very, very smooth, glossy finish. Very impressive. The RWB thing on the windshield is a decal. And then the sticker, I mean the windows themselves are very thin plastic. And they have the blackout printed on the back side. So it's like packaging plastic, you know how thin those windows are? Unfortunately they're so reflective. But yeah, you can see the pic, look. I mean it's so clear, you don't get any distortion like you would on a molded window. Alright. Go into this rear wing here. There's a texture in here. I don't know if that's molded in. I'm sure it must be molded in. It's so recessed. I don't know if they would put a piece of metal in there, but maybe. Tiny little dots here for the bolt details. I think that's a decal. You can see the waviness of the surface. Alright, so the rear, we got the ant license plate, looks good. And then the exhaust tips, they are hollow. They are very round. Yeah, I don't know if those are metal tubes or just nicely molded pieces of plastic. It's hard to say. The rear lights are very nice. You know, you got the printed on backups are crisply printed, and then the orange and the red are very deep plastic. And there's a shiny material behind there. What I do find odd is it doesn't say Porsche right here. I don't know, I can't tell in that rear photograph if it's been removed. There is a dot right there. That's interesting. Not sure why it would be there, but it's not on that side. Alright, so this, I don't know. I think that's so smooth. Let me change the angle. I almost feel like that RWB is a decal, but it's under the clear coat. No, I think I can feel it. That's a decal on the top of the clear coat. Alright, so here we have, you know, some black detail here for the vent. I don't know if that's paint or a decal. I think it might be a decal, all that black. Yeah, I have a feeling that's a decal. That whole black graphic here. Alright. So these wing ends must be metal. Look how thin they are. So I think those are photo etched metal glued onto this wing. Excuse me. The rear windows got the defroster lines. Not really a fan of those things. You would never see them on a real car. Alright. So I guess that leaves the interior. No, it's too dark without a flashlight, so let me get a flashlight out. So 15 lumens. I don't want to touch that windshield wiper. Unfortunately, the instrument cluster is totally blank. There's no decal in there. There doesn't seem to be a rear view mirror. But the steering wheel is nice. It's nice and thin. It's not oversized like a Hot Wheels. The seats themselves are very thin. The back as well. Yep, dashboard. Can't see much there. Let's try from this angle. You know what? I'm going to put the model down. Hit the focus. Then try to zoom in. Yeah, so the steering wheel is nice. Oh, look at that. The seat has a harness decal or something, so that's good. Boy, it's such a small cabin. It's really hard to get a look at this thing. But there's the front, the seat closest to us. You can see the harness is running up vertically. I think this thing actually has back seats too. It's really hard to tell, but I think it's there. It's just a real shame the dashboard doesn't have any gauges. No, I don't see any, right? I think that's the dashboard right there. I think, does that steering wheel have? No, no additional color. No additional color on that dashboard. Some molded details. Okay. Well, I think it's nice that it has an interior at all. I've bought other expensive deformed vehicles and they have no interiors. So that's pretty impressive actually to have seats and decals of harnesses in there. So very impressive. I gotta say, it's a lot nicer than I thought it was gonna be. I think I'll have to, off camera, maybe mess with that tire a little bit. And then I'll have to wipe all my fingerprints off of it as well. So let's take a look at a couple other models now. So I have a 993 Kyosho here. It's the 911 Turbo. And it's not a very good model, to be honest with you. The headlights are just sticking out of the casting like that. And for racing, I have a Spark model. It's a 911 RSR. I think this is the one of the more later, recent 911s, the 991 series. Alright. So I do have two other 911s here in cartoon form. This one is by VIP Scale Models, this 993 RWB convertible. And one thing I'm noticing from this other brand, it actually has a Porsche badge on the front, and it looks like it's a foil sticker. See? So that's something, if, well, you know, looking at the photograph, this doesn't have a Porsche badge, which is weird to me. I think, you know, even if it's a modified Porsche, I think just out of respect, you should put the badge back on it. You know, if it was like a Toyota or Honda, I can understand shaving the badge off, but for me, I would keep a Porsche badge on. Alright, this next one is by, I don't know, it could be either two companies, Yuan Car or Furuya, sorry. So that looks like a 993 RWB as well. But you see, that has no interior. It's a totally blacked out canopy. Now size-wise, I'm wondering. Yeah, I do feel like this is a much larger cartoon car. It's just, look at the size of it on the plinth. It just seems much bigger. Alright. Also, this one doesn't have like a light bucket behind the headlights. Whereas the other two, they definitely have light buckets. This is just like a flat surface painted silver. So, but this model costs a lot less. You can still buy this now. Look up the prices of these things. These two cost a lot more. This still has a lot of good details. You know, separate wiper blades and stuff, and you know, well, this also has a nice foil Porsche badge and a tow hook. And it might also have a brake system. I can't recall, but anyways. Alright, so that's it for those two. I'll get these two out of here. Let this guy spin on its own. So a couple QC problems with the decals. It's hard to lay up the decals. But other than that, I don't really see anything really wrong with it. The wheels are fantastic, the exhausts are fantastic, it has real license plates like the real car. Wiper blades, yeah, the lights are great. Yeah, I guess it's really just that decal. And then the question of whether or not those decals are going to fall apart in the future or not. We don't know that answer. Hopefully not. Alright, well, if you like the Porsches and you like cartoons, this might not be bad. Either one of the three I just showed you would be good options in my opinion. But pick your choice. Alright, thanks for watching. See you around.